The first Saturday in May is fast approaching, and the stakes will raise each week. So let's talk about how a horse can qualify for the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is strictly for 3-year-olds. They get their one chance this season, and that's it. It was once all about the earnings, but now it's about the qualifying points. These points are earned by finishing in the top 5 of a Derby prep race. But it's not just about the winner. Some of the horses on the Derby Trail could cement their status just by finishing in the top 5. Running second, third, fourth is just as important. Last year's winner, Mystic Dan, got third via a photo in the Arkansas Derby to qualify. Rich Strike, who won at monster odds, finished third in the 2022 Jeff Ruby Stakes to get the points he needed. Country House was second in the Risen Star, fourth in the Louisiana Derby, third in the Arkansas Derby. Every point matters, every race matters, and good news for you, you can watch all of the Kentucky Derby preps leading up to the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby right here on FanDuel TV.
I like it. So MP's telling us that we can finish in the top 5, and that could be enough points to catapult us up top of this leaderboard and maybe do enough to punch that ticket for the first Saturday in May. Taking a look at the updated Derby leaderboard, it's Cold Battle sitting up top with 70 points. Citizen Bull in there with 60, and Getaway Car to round out the top 3 with 36. Now, Caleb, outside of the top 5, outside of the big contenders, who's a runner that may still be lurking a little under the radar?
Well, a horse that was second in the Holy Bull, the $1 Million Tappan Street, I think could be very live because Tappan Street's $1 million into mischief for Brad Cox. And I like to do, again, best case scenarios. My best case scenario comparison for Tappan Street would be Mage, because Mage was ultra lightly raced, highly regarded. And if you remember Mage on his lead up to the Derby, he was making these big old moves in the turn, in the Fountain of Youth, in the Florida Derby. He was defeated in those races, but he was making an eye-catching move. And Tappan Street made an eye-catching move in the Holy Bull. He looked like the winner, turning for home until Burnham Square came and collared him up late. But kind of above that same ilk, lightly raced and very well thought of.
Could be a little buy low spot, not so much of the best of what we have seen thus far, but buying in on that talent and ability and hopefully that potential. We can find that top gear come the first Saturday in May. The road to the Kentucky Derby rolls on this weekend right here on FanDuel TV. We had the John Battaglia and the Rebel last weekend. We now look ahead to the Gotham out at Aqueduct, the Fountain of Youth, where we will get to see that return for Burnham Square in the San Felipe out here on the West Coast, Best Coast.
And Megan brought up an interesting point because these horses that have won the Derby recently have come off of losses. A Country House was defeated, Mystic Dan was defeated, Mage was second, and that was not the case recently because starting in 2012 with I'll Have Another, all the way to 2018 with Justify, 7 years in a row. How many losses did those 7 Derby winners have as a 3-year-old going in? None. So this was all about winning coming in and then winning the Derby. Now recently, horses that have been defeated, even were third in the local prep, are winning the Kentucky Derby. So a bit of a trend change in recent years.
And to state the obvious, Caleb, these are the 3-year-olds. They're either in their first or second years of racing. They're still trying to show a bit more improvement, trying to stack on some muscle. So eligible to see maybe a long shot like we had through the last 5 years.
And just when you thought the Derby got too predictable, oh, we got 6 favorites in a row. It's becoming predictable. They got the computer AI learning. Yeah, since then, we've had 2 disqualifications, a 70-1, an 80-1. It's gotten really wild in the last few years.
Nothing but prices, and that's what we want to see.